some. And I knew just enough to think I knew it all. When a neighbor of my dad's got me on the roundup crew that fall. Well, the wagon boss, he shod my string when I got in that night, so I haven't even seen my horses yet. But he told me what their names were, but I ain't good with names. But I do remember that one of them was Red. Now, the next morning, they stretched out our lines and made a rope corral, and the horses knew exactly where to go. Now, I asked this cowboy, I said, "What color's old Red?" He smiled, he said, "Son, I don't rightly know." Well, the horses stirred up clouds of dust inside the rope corral, and the cowboys stood with bridles in their hands. And each would call a horse by name, and the wagon boss would nod, and a loop would settle deep inside the band. He swung this big houlihan, an artist, with a rope, and he filled his loop with almost every try. It was sort of hazy, but he recognized each horse by the silhouette in the early morning sky. I saw this raw bay bone gray horse in the middle of the pack, and I told this older cowboy, "Look at that. You see that long-haired cowhawk thing standing over there?" And he said, "The one that moves just like a cat?" And I said, "No, that big jug-headed thing with wind puffs are for hawks." "You mean that one with big old saucer eyes?" I said, "No, I said that cat ham thing with feet like dinner plates. I never seen an ankle quite that size." And he said, "You mean that gray horse with that nice short cannon bones? Just watch the way he makes his nostrils flare. His heart's as big as Texas, and his lungs are built to match. Well, that kind of horse will take you anywhere." And I said, "I'm talking about that one that's got that droopy ear and that scar across the middle of his face." "You mean that one with the withers that sits well above his neck?" He stared right at them horses and never even ever looked at my way. And I can't figure out the one he's talking about. But he don't seem to see that ugly thing I'm pointing to. I was going to ask him before I got it out. It came his turn. He called a name. A loop flew through the air, and out come the one I was pointing to. He said, "This here's my favorite horse. I've had him since he was 3. He's seen some wrecks, but he ain't nearly through." I said, "Now, ain't that funny how we seen that gray through different eyes? And he saw the good, and I only saw the bad. All the time he knew I was talking about his horse, and he never cussed or reacted like he was mad. He knew I'd hang myself, and he handed me the rope, and sure enough, I pulled the noose up tight. And throughout all the years we've rode together, he ain't brought it up, and I ain't had to tell him he was right. Oh, it's my turn. Well, catch me Red, that big flea-bitten gray. The one whose withers set above his neck, with eyes as big as saucers and in nice cannon bones, the kind that you can depend on in a wreck."